What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Trend the Jets podcast. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at WillPod11 on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All 32 pod TOJ Talks on Badlands. Got that over with quick. Want to hop on here Sunday afternoon. Wanted to get rest on the game last night a little bit, and went back, watched the full tape on TV copy, and watched the full tape on all 22. Want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Obviously, not a night I think that will be remembered. It was week 2 of the preseason. The Jets got their ass kicked a little bit, a lot of it in the second half and a little bit in the first half. And we're in the dog days of camp. Week 4, the Jets have had a really intense camp by all measures. And a lot of guys missing by injury, and the offense didn't look sharp in the passing game. It was kind of a lot of what this week looked like. Midway through the Giants practice Tuesday, kind of momentum flipped where the Jets came out really well on Tuesday. Fields looked good. He started 12 of 13, the whole 9 yards. Second and third in long periods, and things that kind of fell apart. Wednesday was a shitty day by all accounts from the Jets, and Sauce gets banged up a little bit with the calf, and Q's got the calf. Jermaine's coming back from the Achilles. Those guys obviously didn't play. Will McDonald had the back and the hamstring, or back and knee and all this different stuff, kind of random ailments throughout camp. He didn't play as well, and then offensively, not a good performance from the Jets. Like, let's be honest here. It wasn't a great performance last night. That said, I want to kind of hop on here, provide a little context, and kind of just settle the masses a little bit. I've seen all the freak out, and Abdul Carter spam tweeting about Stone Smart pancaking him, and Kayvon Thibodeau's talking a bunch of shit, and the whole thing. Let's just start with the offense as a whole. I think that's the biggest talking point. Fields, the offense, how the first half transpired. Couple of things. I would have loved to see the offense play another series. I tweeted it last night. I know Connor and Joe mentioned it as well. Thought getting points in the second drive into a nice spot, I guess, to kind of end things. But I felt like you want to get Fields in rhythm a little bit. Maybe Glenn in his head said he's got his 20 plays in. We can't really afford to have him get hurt, as much as I know people are frustrated with him this morning, all this different stuff. We can't afford to have him get hurt. Tyrod's already missing. Let's get him out of there. We got everyone out clean. Some things to work on. Some things look good. Some things look terrible. So that's one. I would have loved to see them go another series. I do wonder what's going to happen this weekend, and I'll talk about it in the midweek pod. But I'm curious if Glenn, plays these guys a series or two, tries to get them rolling. And then part of me thinks, I guess, why risk it? Maybe they hit a lot this week during practice and kind of go all out that way with the starters and do a lot of ones-on-ones work, and then kind of back it off and get these guys' bodies back to normal and ready to roll for the season. I can see both things happening. When it comes to Fields, he wasn't good last night. No doubt about it. I don't think anyone's going to argue with you. He was not good last night. That said, through 5 passes, he's not using his legs in the preseason. I know he had touchdown runs Green Bay, but generally speaking, he's not using his legs. I think I would be pretty shocked if the Jets were not telling him, hey, get down immediately, get the ball out of your hands, do not take hits, run the offenses, whatever, but we're not going to put you in harm's way. You take Fields' legs out of it, you take the RPO stuff out of it, you take his ability to scramble, and then a lot of the run game and play action game to open up the pass. Fields is not going to look great. Let's just be honest here. He's a guy who's right now, maybe it'll change, and it's not a bad thing necessarily because you can work with it, but he's really a 1-2 scramble guy right now. That's just kind of really the reality of it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. That's what the Jets have done a lot during camp. We've seen them have success, is a lot of motioning Brees, motioning Garrett, getting guys in different bunch formations, play actions, misdirection, screen games, all these different things. The Jets aren't going to show that in a preseason game. So it's not like copium and all these different things, but a lot of what's going to make the offense successful this year is running the football, obviously. And again, the Jets starting offense come out at 7-3. It's not like that game, if that was a real game, would have been over. Fields wasn't playing well, but the Jets would have continued to run it down the Giants' throat. The defense settled in, and maybe the things are different. So it doesn't matter, obviously, against preseason, but it's just something to think about. Again, in terms of the structure of the offense, the second drive was obviously one of those things where first drive, it's nice to pick up a first down, and I loved going for it on fourth down. That was awesome. Replay technology, it's great that we have it. It works in tennis and works in soccer, all these different things. It's got to speed the fuck up. That should not be taking 5 minutes of game time. That of real time, that is insane. So That needs to get cleaned up, by the way. I don't know why that takes so long. The whole point of having this, so you can instant, boom, we don't have to do the whole chain gain thing and like spotting the ball by eye, all this stuff. I just feel like this needs to be done right away. Not to sound like, real millennial there, but like that needs to get done and needs to be improved. They go down the field. Again, Fields doesn't look great. They get the ball out of his hand, gets rushed with Brees, and, misses Garrett a couple times and the whole thing. I get it. The second drive, I think 11 of the 12 plays are runs. 3rd and 8 wasn't a concede. That was a straight, like, we know you're going to go lighter defenders, and we're going to punch you in the mouth behind our best offensive line in the run game, which is AVT and Armand Membu. So that was good to see. Again, I really just think, like, I don't want to say it's an excuse, but the preseason is going to be a tough look for the Jets because so much, again, of their offense is going to be bells and whistles, gadgets, run game, and set up everything. Fields' ability to run, ability to scramble, to threaten you on the perimeter, getting Brees involved in the pass game, getting Garrett involved in motion and getting him easy touches. Like, the Jets aren't going to show that, especially not going to put that on tape. You'll run a little bit in scrimmages and in practice, but you're certainly not putting that on tape, during the preseason. So just take that with a grain of salt. Again, I think it'll improve. How much it improves, I don't know. Fields has got to play better. Let's be honest. Like, he has to play better. It's good to take care of the football. It's good to be able to run the football. At some point this year, at certain points, he's going to have to push that ball downfield a little bit. And I think he has the ability to do it. Whether he actually does it, we'll see. So try to calm a little panic there. Again, I thought the offensive line, really tough test. The Giants are a really good group. They're, if not the best group in the league, they're one of the 2 or 3 best D-lines in the league. I like some of the things I saw specifically from AVT, the interior. Tippmann's got to fix the snaps. It's annoying we're having a conversation about this again. He's obviously the best center on the roster. No one's taking that away. I think they gave Josh Myers the opportunity to compete. They've held to that. It's a good look from a coaching staff that make promises probably to guys or potentially make promises to guys, bringing him here as a free agent and following through on that. So, like, great job by Glenn and the staff. I think now's the time, like, just get Tippmann as many of the reps, and Myers can fill in where he fills in, and Tippmann's got experience now playing guard. He's done it in real games. He's done it in the preseason. Like, now's the time to kind of, okay, competition was fun. Now let's lock it in, get a couple more good camp practices in, then we'll get that bye week and kind of get everyone right mentally. So, but snap the ball, man. I don't know if it's getting low in your stance. It's sitting up higher in your stance. I don't know from a perspective of, like, what's going to work for Joe Tippmann versus other people. I'm not the offensive line coach, but that stuff cannot continue. It can't be a problem. It can't be a talking point all year. So that's just something I wanted to kind of mention. Tippmann's a good player. Should be the starting center. There's no question about it. But the snap issues can't be happening. In terms of other things offensively that you take away, I don't think there was a ton. I got to be honest. Donovan Edwards, Kenny Nwanu did a good job. Like, he's solidified himself, I think, as the kick returner for this team. I think Pritchett solidified himself as the punt returner. Sure-handed. Nwanu obviously has that explosive, kind of kick return ability, and has done enough on offense and kickoff to be able to show that he could be on the roster. I think Pritchett's done enough in the pass game, in practice specifically, and some in the games, and then, he's done enough in terms of being sure-handed enough. Gibson's banged up. So from a Pritchett perspective, it makes a lot of sense. I think Brandon Smith and Skinner both had great nights. No surprise. Smith has slowly started to work himself up now. You're starting to see him get 1 reps. You're starting to see him play early on in the preseason. You're starting to see him play a lot more with Justin Fields. So I think it's trending towards a guy that you keep on the roster. I'm of the mindset, at least at this point, depending on Gibson and Lazard's injuries, I think it's trending towards the receiver room looking a little bit, as of today, you short-term IR, Gibson and Lazard, and you figure it out in a month. Month into the season, you can't cut Lazard even if he's not been awesome. He's going to go right to Pittsburgh. So I think Lazard and Gibson are potential IR candidates, and even if Lazard's probably back healthy by the start of the season, maybe that's something they do to kind of like buy themselves some time. I think Skinner's probably a practice squad guy, but he's a priority practice squad guy. I mean, he's had a really nice summer. He's a unique skill set. He goes up and gets it. He's made contested catches. With a guy like Fields, that's something you need. I think Brandon Smith's done enough to make this roster, and so is Pritchett. I just think they're better than Corley, Gibson, and Lazard. And I think those 3 young guys should be on the team over, the other 3 guys I mentioned. Corley's done absolutely nothing. Not surprising. I think a lot of people were like, oh, it's a new staff. to some extent, yeah, Sean Jefferson's still the receiver coach and still had dealt with Corley last year, and that didn't change. So he's a guy I see on the outside looking in. In terms of the rest of the offensive line, I think Max Mitchell makes this team. He had a decent night last night. That's all I got on that. Defensively, the Andre Sisco play cannot happen. And I say that from a couple of reasons. One, it's something he struggled with a lot last year in Jacksonville. That's part of why his year didn't go so well. The eye discipline, being too aggressive sometimes and doing things. I understand, like, the idea of, he thought he was going to jump the wheel route. That's great. Russ is a veteran quarterback, and I know Russ is not the same player he used to be. I just don't understand, like, Russ wants to chuck it deep, and thinking that you're going to outsmart a guy who is, again, Russ holds the ball too long. He's extremely corny, all these million things, but, like, he set you up, like, clear as day. You're deep third, play deep third. And Stiggers passes off, thinks he's passing off the post route for the wheel and, like, maintained great leverage on the wheel. And then, like, what is Cisco doing? He stops his feet, takes Stiggers out of the play, has to baseball turn, but can't even baseball turn, so he has to literally just, like, open his hips and run, and he gets beat. And, yeah, good hustle to make the tackle, but, like, that stuff cannot happen. The Jets safety play last night, Adams, even Malachi Moore, I thought all those guys just not great weeks from the safeties. Cisco has had a nice camp. I thought Malachi Moore's had some really nice moments during camp. Tony Adams has had his share of moments, but this week was tough, and those guys got to get it together. Dean Clark out of Fresno State, UDFA, had a really nice night last night, obviously. Him and Jarius Monroe and maybe JBC as a hybrid, like, those guys have very, like, clear paths to making the roster. I thought JBC was fantastic last night. Goal line stand is something Glenn I know is going to love, and so Contest Stiggers was awesome. I saw some concern around, like, the Jets' cornerback depth. I don't see that at all. I'm not sure where they have an issue at corner at all. Like, Sauce has been amazing this summer. He's obviously the highest paid corner in the NFL. We'll see what Stevens looks like on game days, and when the game planning starts, and he's going to get a lot of teams are going to put, try to get him on their number one and get him in motion and do a bunch of different things. Like, he's had an amazing summer. He looks like a totally different player. He's been in the right spot all the time. He's something he did well in Baltimore, but again, did not have good ball skills this summer. Like, he's added pass breakups to his game and a couple of interceptions. So really excited about him. Michael Carter was fantastic last night. He looks like a Pro Bowl level nickel corner. He is. I thought the depth behind him is really good. I see it differently, I guess, in terms of that. So, like, Zaire Thomas is hurt, but he's having a really nice summer. I think he's a guy who could start games in the NFL very soon. I think Quantas Stiggers could start games in the NFL, and I thought he had a really nice summer, and I thought he's had a really nice night last night. He's a very good tackler. He's good on specials. He obviously had the interception, read that well. I thought, on the touchdown, I don't think that's on him. So then Jared Bernard-Converse can play in this league. So to me, their corner depth's been awesome, and it was on full display last night. Safety play, maybe not so much. Last kind of thing here, and I'm going to have a much more in-depth couple pods this week. Live show. We're 6 days out. Buy your damn tickets. Let's get another 40, 50 tickets in there and jam-pack that building. Got some special guests, for my segment. We got a lot of giveaways, all that different stuff. D-line depth, we know, has been a question mark throughout the summer. You would have liked to see a Watts, McGregor, Clemens, Barron, one of the Weaver, some of those guys kind of grab a stranglehold of, like, edge 3, edge 4. And I know Clemens will be edge 3. He'll probably start the year if Jermaine's not back, which hopefully he is. But if he's not back, that's what's going to happen. Weaver's hurt, and I haven't seen a single good rep from him all summer. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I haven't seen anything that's made me think he should make the team. Watts had the one play when me and Connor were there. We talked about it the other night on the show, and that's really it. And McGregor just is kind of out there. He's, like, fine. He's not a dynamic rusher or dynamic run stopper. He's kind of just out there. He's like a fine player. The Jets could use another edge. I don't know if it means going to Clowney, Zadarius Smith, Matt Judon route, which I'd be open to, especially Clowney, just improving the run game. Can use him a little bit in, like, the JFM role and say, hey, like, we're going to give you a bunch of incentives. You're going to play a bunch, and you're going to spell Jermaine, and we're going to take you and kick you inside at times. We're going to let you kick outside. We need 4 to 5 sacks from you, but we really want you to be good against the run. Here's $10 million. Like, I'd sign up for that in a heartbeat. And before you say, oh, why would he come here? Like, Jadeveon Clowney's about money, man. And I know people probably have PTSD from Reddick, very different players. Clowney gives it when he, like, brings it when he's on the field. He's just a guy that is a mercenary. So, and then waiver wire. I think, again, receiver's the big talking point. Sure, and I totally get it. But I don't think that's the only problem with the passing game. I think there's a lot of nuance in terms of, again, scheme, how much you want to show, ways they're getting Mason Taylor and Brees involved and Garrett involved. They're not going to show during the week, sure, during game week like that. And then, I just think edge and defensive tackle, they need to add at least a body, if not two. Tufele has some juice still and had a really nice week. It wasn't great last night, but he's still, I think, a promising, addition. Ferry Mathis makes plays here or there, but he's probably your fifth defensive tackle. Peyton Page, Nandi, Coward's coming back, but they probably need a body at edge and a body at defensive tackle. So appreciate it for listening. I know a disappointing night last night. Take a deep breath. Preseason week 2. Jets are missing a ton of starters. They're not showing you anything. Very okay with being down on a guy like a Cisco or Field. Field and Cisco weren't good last night, as just two examples. Does that mean they're awful and never going to be good again because they were good last week and then this week they weren't? No, it's just they're high variance players and it needs to be better. But again, I thought some guys really stood out. Stevens, Carter, again on offense, Smith, Skinner. The running back room looked good, especially the top two guys, and AVT and some of the offensive linemen. So talk to everybody later this week and enjoy the rest of your weekend.